logo icon is only $59.95 on pay-as-you-go. Phones for you. Missing our deals will haunt you.
Commercials are supposed to advertise a product or service. They can also inform of something. They're usually supposed to be as TV friendly as possible, but some can slip through the cracks. So today, I'm counting down 20 of the most disturbing commercials to have ever aired on television. It doesn't matter what country it aired in, so anything can be fair game. Let's begin.
Baby laugh a lot. When you think of popular toy brands, what comes to mind? Companies like Mattel, Lego, Hasbro would come up. But has anybody even heard of the company Remco? Barely any of their toys are remembered except one, Baby Laugh a Lot. This doll was released in 1971. Most children who get it were terrified of it, with most copies being returned. The doll has eyes that can stare into your soul, along with large red cheeks and a wide evil grin. The main selling feature of the toy was that it would laugh a lot. Imagine a little kid waking up at 2 in the morning to hear this creepy doll laugh at her like an evil witch. Around the same year the doll came out, Remco released a commercial to help sell it. If you can even call it a commercial, since it feels like a horror movie trailer. It starts with the narrator stating,
"Listen to Remco's Baby Laugh a Lot." You're listening to Baby Laugh a Lot. She's the funniest doll you've ever seen. Just push the button and she starts to giggle. Get Baby Laugh a Lot by Remco.
The doll sits in a small rocking chair as it laughs maniacally. Shots of little girls laughing with the doll will also appear. Also in the same year as the toy, Remco went bankrupt. I wonder why.
The PS3 Baby. The PlayStation consoles have always had weird commercials, like Commonwealth, which features a large four-headed woman talking about nonsense.
Mankind went to the moon. I don't even know where Grimsby is. Forget progress by proxy. Land on your own moon.
Around 2006, this ad was aired to promote the next PlayStation console, the PS3. And it is full-on creepy. A naked baby doll opens its eyes to see a PS3 lying on the ground. The baby begins to cry and moan over the console. Its eyes show images of games being played. And guess what? It gets weirder. The doll begins to chuckle like a chimpanzee would. At the end, the PS3 begins to float. This ad has a huge reputation for being one of the worst of its kind. The only connection it has to the console is it being slightly shown as the baby moans to it. It's just plain weird.
The Judderman. This commercial is for the alcopop beverage, Metz, and was released in the year 2001. It has garnished a strange reputation. It has been voted as one of the most frightening adverts of all time. It was restricted from airing during the early evenings because it frightened many young kids. A man walks through dark, snowy woods while being followed by a creature known as the Judderman. The Judderman is a tall, horrific figure who terrifies European villagers near the woods. He has large, spiky hair covered in ice and long fingers. A young narrator reads a poem about the Judderman throughout. The ad ends as the man is turned into a puppet, with the Judderman controlling him.
Beware the Judderman, my dear, when the moon is fat. Sharp of tongue and spindle-limbed he is, and cunning.
sweetened talk of schnapps and meds and the deliciousness of Judders. But schnapps, though sweet, has teeth, my love, and sharpened ones at that. Beware the Judderman, my dear, when the moon is fat. Judderbedia meds och schnapps.
The Halloween Snickers commercial. Candy companies get most of their sales during the month of October, so it's something that hardly needs to be advertised. But in 2010, Snickers decided that they would. The commercial starts with a woman walking down the candy aisle during Halloween. She encounters a large and scary-looking older woman. However, she is actually two of the woman's child neighbors. They begin dumping loads of Snickers into her cart. The woman leaves, startled. The look of the two boys' costume is just downright scary. The mask looks like something a serial killer would use to hide their identity. It looks too unnatural and odd. The fur coat and the scarf adds to this. The commercial is very creative, however, and was supposed to be harmless.
Hello, Mrs. Jensen. You don't have any Snickers in your shopping cart. The neighborhood kids love Snickers on Halloween. Let me help you.
Oh,
I'm only helping you. Snickers.
We're definitely going to her house.
Shh. This Halloween, nothing satisfies like Snickers.
You cannot beat us. This vintage Nintendo ad aired sometime during the 1980s, but only in Australia and New Zealand. In it, various video game characters like Bowser and the Duck Hunt dog taunt the viewer, saying you cannot beat us. They would jump out from a TV and scream in a deformed version from their respective games. Since this is the 1980s, the CGI used to look terrifying. Kids saw that they were very disturbed, and rightly so. It was stopped from airing after many complaints, and honestly the marketing for it is stupid. Saying to the viewer they cannot beat the games makes it seem like a waste of time to play.
We are Nintendo Ultimate TV Game System. We challenge all players. You cannot beat us. Aim your zapper gun. You cannot beat us. Even with your robot partner. You cannot beat us. Score 1 million. You cannot beat us. Discover new worlds. You cannot beat us. We are Nintendo. We challenge all players. You cannot beat us.
Run like hell. Smoking is bad for you. No argument there. But lots of people still do smoke, including teens. The real cost is a campaign aimed at stopping teen smoking. Its ads are strange, but do have a great message. However, their ads for Run Like Hell are truly something. The first one has a group of kids finding a thing on the ground. One of them scoops it up and it crawls on his body and attempts to get inside his mouth.
If cigarettes looked as dangerous as they are, you'd run like hell. Find out the real cost of tobacco.
The second ad takes place in a science class, with a teacher explaining the harms of smoking. Then, the creature begins to attack the classroom. At the end of both ads, the creature hides back inside of a cigarette package. The creature itself looks like a cross between a Demogorgon and a spider. The commercials are very good though, showing cigarettes like monsters.
Lung growth.
Mr. Essler.
Tooth loss. Cancer.
Mr. Essler.
Hang on.
If cigarettes looked as dangerous as they are, you'd run like hell. Find out the real cost of tobacco.
The Kalbi Dog. Japan is home to some of the weirdest stuff. One of the strangest has to be these commercials, featuring a man in a golden retriever costume. They come from the Japanese chip brand, Calbee, which started in 1949. The most well-known of the ads starts with a young boy who came home from a long and probably boring day at school. He is sad that he can't find love, so the Kalbi Dog comes to the rescue. He attempts to make the boy laugh by doing things like wearing a doll head, somehow doing strange hand motions, doing a handstand and playing with plates. The boy finds love, and the dog creature looks at the bag of chips, and then jumps in the air.
콘소메 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 펀치 펀치잖아요 콘소메 펀치 음악사가 기대를 콘소메 펀치 콘소메 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 펀치 콘소메 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 펀치 펀치는 인기 콘소메 펀치.
Another ad features a kid sitting away from his baseball team, with the dog fetching his ball. These definitely came from the land of the rising sun. The dog has become a meme for how odd and uncanny it looks.
콘소메 펀치 음악사가 기대를 콘소메 펀치 콘소메 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 펀치 뉴 콘소메 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 펀치 펀치는 인기 콘소메 펀치.
Kinder Surprise Eggman. Kinder Surprise eggs are actually banned in the US. The Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act prohibits edible products that feature inedible products inside it. Over the years, this ban has been relaxed, with a new version of the chocolate being released around 2017. Sometime during the 1980s in Italy, the Ferrero company released something truly scary. This commercial features a Humpty Dumpty knockoff, getting overly excited towards one of the surprise eggs. He reveals a toy, and eventually falls off the wall he is sitting on. Hopefully none of the king's horses and men put him back together, because he looks freaky.
Shaky. Me unscrabbly. Chocka-dooby! Doubly chocka-dooby! Pop swabble! Toy! Yodel yum and choco scrum with multi pop swabble dies! Oh, grubbly! Me scrubble now! Snuggle! Whee!
Kinder Surprise from Ferrero.
The Orkin Bugs. Orkin is a pest control company that was founded in 1901. The company went downhill around 2004 with lots of complaints with their termite contracting practices. Sometime in 2010, Orkin released some of their ads to boost service sales. The first one has a family answering the door to find a 6-foot-tall termite staring at them.
I got it.
I was wondering if I could use your phone. My car broke down a few blocks over, and is that Oak? I wanted to call my brother-in-law.
What?
Bugs want in?
Of course, Orkin comes to the rescue before the insect eats the entire family. Another features a family getting home from vacation, only to find that the rats are playing Guitar Hero in their living room. Luckily, Orkin comes to the rescue. Many other ads like this aired in the year of 2010. Could anyone else imagine giant bugs knocking on your door so they can eat you and destroy your house?
You. We're not supposed to be back until Sunday. We could use the boy. Yeah. On drums.
Rodents want to make your home their home, but Orkin keeps them out. Get guaranteed protection from rats, mice, and all kinds of pests. Orkin, keeping pests in their place.
Hello. We're here. here to deliver your new couch. It has a matching ottoman. Sugar.
Bugs one in, Orkin keeps them out. No one's better trained to rid your home of pests and keep them from coming back. Orkin, keeping pests in their place.
The Kaifi ads. When YouTube started back in 2005, some of the first viral videos were these commercials. They're for a German energy drink known as Kaifi. These gems started airing in the late 90s and are now known infamous online. Each start with pieces of peaceful and calming scenery. Then, out of nowhere, they let out an ear-screeching scream as their faces cover the screen. After your slight heart attack, the screen shows the true message of the ad. You have never been so awake. You probably wouldn't have noticed it though.
Quit smoking. As stated before, smoking is bad for you, but you really can't see how it harms the body from the inside. With this series of commercials you can. Not too much is known about these PSAs. They originated from the country of Australia and aired sometime in the 1990s. Each start with a person ignoring everyday life to go smoking a cigarette.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Smoking creates blood clots, which can cause strokes. Some strokes kill, blind, or paralyze. Others you don't even know you're having. This is the result of a minor stroke in a smoker, aged 38.
As they start, it transitions to a group of scientists, opening up human organs. This tends to get disgusting at best, full-on horror at worst. Each PSA shows the deadly and hidden side effects of smoking.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. This is part of an aorta, the main artery from the heart. Smoking makes arterioles sticky and collect dangerous fatty deposits. This much was found stuck to the aorta wall of a smoker, age 32. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Chemicals from tobacco smoke get into your bloodstream and can damage the delicate blood vessels inside your eye. We now know that smoking is a major cause of irreversible blindness. It's never too late to quit. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
No-brainer. Not much is known about this PSA too, however this one will definitely stick with you more. Instead of addressing smoking, however, it addresses something more harmful: cocaine. Another drug PSA was gonna pick for the spot would have been bath salts. It's not a fad. But this one, a man receives a titular drug in the mail and hallucinates.
What's wrong with you?
So this one is even worse. A guy walks into the bathroom at a party, sits by the toilet, opens up his head, takes a piece of his brain, cuts it up with a credit card, and snorts it into his nostrils. The music and sound effects are really creepy. I'm pretty sure that this one was too much to handle, which is why I can't find much information on it. It has been banned from airing on television because it gave many nightmares. which is what the company was probably going for.
The spirit of the dark and lonely water. Water. It's something that is in our everyday lives. You need water to live, but water could also end lives. Drowning is a common cause of death in certain places, especially to children. Children are not as good as adults when it comes to swimming because at that age, they're still learning how to. In the year of 1973, a British PSA known as the Spirit of the Dark and Lonely Water was released. It starts with a panning shot over swamps as the creepy narrator tells of the spirit. A group of kids watches their friend retrieves a soccer ball from a small patch of water as the spirit watches.
I am the spirit of dark and lonely water, ready to trap the unwary, the show-off, the fool. And this is the kind of place you'd expect to find me. But no one expects to find me here. It seems too ordinary. But that pool is deep. The boy is showing off. The bank is slippery.
Then it shows another kid, alone, holding a loose tree branch to get something from the large pond, as the spirit watches.
The show-offs are easy, but the unwary ones are easier still. This branch is weak, rotten. It'll never take his weight.
Lastly, a kid goes swimming in a dump site, which nobody would ever do with common sense. The spirit once again watches the kid. He's about to drown, but his friends save them. But the spirit warns that he will be back. In Britain, about every child that saw this were traumatized. Viewers were so afraid of it that they said they would never step foot in water again. The PSA has virtual cult status because of that.
Only a fool would ignore this. But there's one born every minute. Under the water there are traps. Old cars, bedsteads, weeds, hidden depths. It's the perfect place for an accident.
Oh, look, there's someone in the water. Quick, use that big stick to get him out.
Sensible children. I have no power over them.
Ew, Wolfie.
I'll be back.
Shame on you. Every year, thousands of people are injured or killed by speeding. Someone will be walking down the street during a red light, and an unknowing car speeds through the street and an impact happens. In 2014, a Northern Ireland PSA gained mass attention for how shocking it is. Many news articles covered this. The ad starts out with a class of kindergartners going on a field trip to the woods. One boy in particular plays with his toy car. While this is happening, a man gets into his car to supposedly go to work. There is an eerie feel to it as an acoustic cover of Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine plays.
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her.
The climax occurs as the car does a sharp turn into a wall, does some flips, and crushes the group of kids as they enjoy a picnic.
And cry. Oh, sweet child of mine.
Since 2000, speeding has killed a classroom of our children. Shame on you. You can never control the consequences.
The narrator says, the PSA's message states that you were the cause of this, making it seem like it could be you doing something like this someday. This has been cited as being one of the most shocking ads of all time, and I could believe that.
The original Ronald McDonald, Willard Scott was the one who created the character of Ronald McDonald. Beforehand, he played Bozo the Clown, who was in a children's show that aired from 1959 to 1962. The show was extremely popular with kids. After the show ended, he thought up of another character that would take its place, which ended up being Ronald. Willard has claimed that the character was inspired from his book, Joy of Living. Ronald's first appearance was also his creepiest. It is in an old vintage ad from the year of 1963. In it, a narrator asks where Ronald is, so he can meet all of the burger-hungry boys and girls. We go inside of a dark room, where we see what he truly looks like. He has a large grinning smile, long, fry-like hair, and a large tray on the top of his head. Also, he strangely has a cup for a nose. His voice is super deep, making him seem more threatening than funny. The commercial has gone down in history for causing many to fear clowns.
Introducing the world's newest, silliest, and hamburger-eatingest clown, Ronald McDonald. Now, where is that clown? Oh, Ronald! Ronald! Hey, Ronald!
Here I am, kid. Hey, isn't watching TV fun? Especially when you got delicious McDonald's hamburgers.
Ronald, you can't be on TV and watch it at the same time. Now, come on and meet the boys and girls.
Oh, we've already met. I know we're going to be friends, too, because I like to do everything boys and girls like to do. Especially when it comes to eating those delicious McDonald's hamburgers. A magic tray here keeps me well supplied. McDonald's hamburgers, french fries, and milkshakes. Watch for me on TV. We'll have lots of fun.
He's Ronald McDonald, the hamburger happy clown. A McDonald's drive-in restaurant is his favorite place in town.
The Lockout Tagout PSA. Work accidents. They happen. Some can sadly lead to death. That is what this PSA warns of. I can't find too much information on this one, however. All I know is that it is one of Canadian origins, and it comes from some company or organization known as a CSST, and that it is graphic. It starts with a factory worker putting on his headphones before beginning to work. He starts pushing some buttons on a machine, before his boss screams at him to stop doing so. He walks over to his boss, and to see a worker's face that was crushed by a machine. A life is lost because of carelessness. At the end, a message says that this could have been prevented by locking the machine while in it, but the guy should have paid more attention while operating it. So is this PSA saying that both could have done better, or only one? We may never know.
The Japanese tire ad. Once again, Japan makes another appearance on this list. You should know if an ad will disturb you when a warning shows up before it airs. It reads, "Not for the faint of heart" video. Please refrain from watching the content if any of the following applies to you. Have any mental or physical health concern, may have to see a doctor regularly. We should not be liable for any injuries, illness, or damages claimed to be caused by watching the contents either. It starts with a group of people going down a road in the middle of the night. They see a white figure standing in the middle of the road. The group stops before impact. The white figure just stands there. probably thinking this is yet another road safety ad, but it's actually for a small tire shop in Japan. The figure is supposed to be someone who died after getting hit by a car, which had tires that were unable to be used on ice. Even with knowing that information, why would this company still do an ad like this?
Monsters. This has been declared the most disturbing PSA of all time. Fragile Childhood is an organization that addresses issues like alcohol abuse by parents. That's what this PSA is about. In it, kids are with their parents out and about, but the parents are not shown. That is until halfway through it, as a man with an ugly rabbit head stares at its daughter. Then, the other parents are revealed. One is the Grim Reaper, one a zombie, one a scary clown, one a nasty-looking Santa Claus, and one man in a frightening mask. The music throughout is pure nightmare fuel, but the message is very important. How do our children see us when we have been drinking?
Krinkles The Clown. Post Sugar Rice Krinkles is a cereal brand. They have been extinct in the market since the late 60s and replaced by Fruity Pebbles. The original mascot of the cereal was a little Chinese boy named So He, which is one of the most racist things I have ever heard of. He was obviously discontinued and was replaced by Krinkles the Clown. He was introduced in the early 60s with mixed results. The cereal box alone would give a kid nightmares, but the ad is something else. It starts with Krinkles waking up inside of a small house. He eventually goes over to a table and tells you about his favourite treat.
Breakfast! I'm hungry! Take it from Krinkles, that's me. The best breakfast under the big top is Post Sugar Rice Krinkles. So crinkly, so delicious, so different. Each grain of rice in Sugar Rice Krinkles is crinkled with honey and sugar. It's so good, I crinkle every time I eat it. Yep, no matter what other rice cereal you've ever tried, you'll love Post Sugar Rice Krinkles best of all. Honey and sugar make it different and wonderful. A circus of fun to eat. So you crinkle on down to the store for Post Sugar Rice Krinkles, the greatest cereal treat on earth.
First off, what does he mean by, I crinkle every time I eat it? Seriously. Also, why do his eyes have to stare directly into my soul? It looks like he's about to murder somebody. Or, there is a gun pointed toward his head off camera. He just looks so unnatural. This ad is the most famous example of a disturbing commercial.
This is a special time and love liquors. In 2012, a Philadelphia-based restaurant released these two monstrosities into the world. This restaurant is Little Baby's Ice Cream. Both of these ads feature an ice cream creature known as Malcolm. The first ad was titled Love Liquors and was released in May. Malcolm sits in an ice cream cone, about to be eaten by a bigger version of himself that is holding him. Malcolm himself is holding a smaller version of him. It goes on and on and on. Basically, it's ice cream hell. The narration for this ad is just plain disturbing.
Go ahead and lick something. We lick you very much. If you want to lick something, lick us. We love to lick. We lick to love. We're love lickers. Little Baby's ice cream. Ice cream is a feeling.
Its more successful follow-up ad is This Is a Special Time. It was released in August of 2012 and became viral, being at number 9 on trending. In it, Malcolm is seen staring at the viewer, barely blinking at all. He takes a plastic spoon, digs it into the top of his head, and puts it in his mouth. While this happens, the narrator, which is most likely Malcolm, talks about how good he tastes and that it is a special time when you go to Little Baby's ice cream.
There's good reason for my glistening skin, and how I shine, and how my pores are so clean and clear. I eat Little Baby's ice cream. It keeps me young. It keeps me light on my feet. I spring from activity to activity. I love my job. I love my life. When you eat Little Baby's ice cream, you'll wink and nod and hug and high-five each other with great enthusiasm. This is a special time. Little Baby's ice cream. Ice cream is a feeling.
Consommé, consommé, consommé panchi.